Okay, what if we have the wrong expectations in motherhood sometimes, and it's making motherhood harder than it has to be, or it's keeping us chasing this elusive time where we're going to reach like ultimate comfort and motherhood is finally going to be easier. We're going to finally figure it out, that just magic bullet for motherhood. I think sometimes we have the wrong expectations and it's setting us up for just some extra pain that we didn't have to go through. So let's talk about that today. I'm a mom of 6. My name is Lana. This is Girl Teach Me. This whole goal of this channel is just to help you level up in your motherhood, help you be more intentional, and just really help you become the mom that you want to be. I think all of us at the end of the day, we want to be the best moms that we can be, and we want to love our kids and love our families the best way we can, but oftentimes we get in our own way, right? So how do we get out of our own way, and how can we ask the Lord to come alongside us and really help us be the best we can for our family? We're constantly talking about that on this channel. So if that resonates with you, I hope you'll stay and hit subscribe. I say this in almost all my videos. If you're pregnant, I have a class down below that will help you so very much with your pregnancy to avoid a lot of extra unnecessary pain, kind of like we're talking about with this video. And after 6 pregnancies and births, I've learned a couple things that I think can really be a help to you. That link is down below. Okay, so the first wrong expectation, and I'm going to give about 7 or 8 wrong expectations, and then like how can we rethink that? How can we start to see the world a little bit differently from that wrong expectation? And I think these wrong expectations are pretty rampant in our culture. They may not apply to you, but there might be one that kind of fits you better than the others. So let's go with the first one. I think the first wrong expectation is that there is an easy number of children. I get this question often. Did you think 1 was easier than 2? 2 was easier than 3? Da 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 da. And there's probably an answer for that. But really, I think when we look at that question, the root of that question is, I would like to pick the easiest number of children. But for me as a Christian, I know that God hasn't promised me that things would be easy, and that following Him means that I'm willing to go wherever He calls me to go, and I'm willing to do whatever He calls me to do. And for the most part, that's laid out in the Word, but then we're all going to have a unique kind of expression of that. And for me, I have found that motherhood has always had its challenges. It was hard at 1, it was hard at 2, it was hard at 3. Now the same things weren't hard. The hard kind of shifts. And older women tell us that they seem to have forgotten how hard the younger years are. And sometimes older women are actually unforgiving, like in public with young children. It's like, hello, did you ever have to go through this yourself? Like, do you not remember how hard it is to keep a child quiet on an airplane? I don't even know. You know what I'm trying to say. And so, but that expectation that there is an easy number of children, I think it's a wrong expectation. I think it's always going to have its challenges. And if you feel the call to have more children, I would say don't let the easy number of children be a hang up. It's always going to be a challenge. Okay, the next one is our husbands are there to save us when it gets hard. Now I will say, my husband does sometimes just bridge a gap for me. Like yesterday, I knew I was in a bad headspace. I just knew I was, and I went and coached my daughter's softball team. I came back, and you know what? My husband encouraged the kids to help clean up the house, and I did walk into a more calmer house. But I know that a lot of times throughout my motherhood, I have literally been looking at the clock. I've been with the kids all day, and I'm like, I cannot wait for him to get home. But then what happened sometimes from that is he comes in and he's tired. And yes, he hasn't been with the kids, but he's dealt with his own unique challenges that I probably don't know about that day. When we were raising really small kids, my husband was doing home health, physical therapy. And so he would be driving all day long to these elderly men or women's homes, and he would provide physical therapy for them. And it got hard sometimes. I mean, sometimes he would have driven, well over 100 miles that day and dealt with a crazy, crazy person, and he had his own hard, okay? But I was expecting that day, without saying anything to him, for him to ride in and be my knight in shining armor. And it sometimes caused some conflict between us because he wasn't expecting to come in and prop his feet up and drink a beer or something like that we see in a lot of movies and things like that. But some days he didn't have a lot coming home. He just didn't, and some days when he came home, I had more than he did. And so I think just waiting for our husbands to save us is sometimes going to set up wrong expectations for them. And it's really going to cause a lot of conflict in our marriage. And so what has been, I think, really helpful for me is, one, just to let him know when I'm struggling, but also to not live for the moment that he walks through the door and just think, okay, I've just got to get to this point of the day. And really just instead, for me, what's been far more helpful is like, what can I do to ask the Lord to come into this moment and help me to be faithful in this moment, to do the next right thing, to do a doable portion? How can I set up my day in such a way that it feels like I can kind of do it on my own with the help of the Lord without my husband, if that makes any sense? For me, uniquely, this looks like me just trying to move my body, trying to get in the Word, trying to keep these like daily disciplines and kind of feel like there's some things I can control and check off, even while I'm at home with kids, not waiting for that moment when he gets home that everything will be better then. I'm beating a dead horse here, but that one has been a hard one for me to learn. And like I said, I still struggle with it. But I think that when we realize that if we are home with kids, we are in fact a free bird, there are things that we can do to add a lot of enjoyment to our day and a lot of meaning. And we can craft a lot more of our day than we realize. I don't know. It's a soapbox I could stay on for a while. Okay, this is a big one. We need the wrong expectation that we need some kind of product or some kind of experience to be a good mom. I see this all the time with, I need that like fancy thing. So for some people, it's like, I need the best stroller, or I need the most minimal toys, or the most minimal wardrobe for my children, or they need to go to the very best preschool, or we have to go to Disney World, or this is going to make me an incredible mom, or my kids have to do the very best gymnastics. I think that this pressure kind of came a little bit more for me when I got out and I could kind of see what other people are doing. I would say I probably uniquely struggle with it the most in baseball season, because I'm kind of seeing what other moms are doing and talking to other moms who maybe aren't a lot like me, in the sense of I'm a homeschool mom, I'm a stay-at-home mom, and then I'm with these other women who are like out in the working world, and they're just able sometimes to do things for their kids that I'm not able to do right now. But that's okay, because I think we can both be really good moms, and genuinely, I don't think kids care as much about what we can give them. I think they care about the way we make them feel. I think they care about the kind of home and the way they feel in the home. And I do not do this perfectly. I am always confessing to my children, like, guys, I'm sorry that I was mean to you today, or I yelled, or this or this. But I really think that it doesn't come down to the product. And also, I think you see this a lot when moms just start being mothers, that they think there's like some kind of baby registry product, that if they don't have these certain products, they can't be a good mom. And the truth is, baby registry items are just tools. They don't actually make us a good mom. Okay, I see this next expectation a lot in sports, because my older boys are 11 and 9, but also I grew up in the sports world. Like, I played softball in my life, and then I coached college softball, and I see this so very much, and it breaks the child-parent relationship constantly. And it's this, that we can somehow live vicariously through our kids. And I don't even think that a lot of parents realize they're doing this, but I see it, and it's rampant. I think ultimately our job as a mother is to be a great coach for our kids, to be there for hard conversations, for them to know that they can come talk to us, but to somehow like put a pressure on them that they have to take a certain path, or they have to do a certain sport, or they have to love a certain thing. They're their own person, and God has made them with their own story. And, just we can encourage them to love certain things, but ultimately they're their own person and they have their own path. And so I just see a lot of parents really trying to get their self-worth and their value and their identity from their child's performance, their child's behavior. And it really puts an undue amount of burden and pressure on a child that I think can just break them. And it's just, I see it all the time at the field, because, you'll see like a dad who's yapping at his son, like coaching him every single second. And the truth is that I think that God has set up the world in such a way, even when I see in scripture, that suffering leads to endurance. Endurance leads to character, and character leads to hope. And so our kids are going to experience suffering, and we experience suffering. And if we try to remove all the suffering and all the learning moments and all the freedom to fail, how can we build endurance and character and ultimately hope? And so I see this really, really hurting a lot of kids, especially in the sports world. Okay, this expectation I hear from a lot of adults who they have regrets well, they don't have regrets. Maybe they're just frustrated with the way things were when with their parents when it comes to anger. And it's the expectation that we don't need to ask for a kid's forgiveness because we are the parent. And I don't think anything could be further from the truth. And I don't think anything creates more of a gospel opportunity than to say to a child, like, I was wrong. Will you please forgive me? Because that's what we have to do our whole life. Is just because maybe we've accepted Christ, that doesn't mean that we're perfect. We're going to make mistakes, and just modeling for our kids that we do have the freedom to fail. It's just that we've got to turn around and try again, if that makes sense. And so I think that a lot of us who struggle with motherhood anger, I think the lie that the enemy comes in and tells us is that it's either our kids' fault for the way we reacted, or that we've apologized so many times they won't believe us anymore. And I think it's neither. It's that we have to go first. We have to model forgiveness so our kids can understand forgiveness. And then also, we're going to mess up, and we're going to mess up, and we're going to mess up. And our kids are going to want to know, can I ever go too far that the Lord wouldn't love me anymore? Is there anything I can do where his love would be removed? And I think that Jesus did it all on the cross. And so I just think that there's this wrong expectation that because we are in the position of authority, that we don't have to ask for forgiveness, because that's yielding our power in the wrong way. And this last one I see a lot with women because they long to have friendships, but I think the wrong expectation that I can't have friends because I have small children, because it's so hard to get together, or I'm having to have broken conversations and it's just not worth it. Gosh, I feel this one so deeply in this season with so many children. Like, having people in my home sometimes doesn't quite feel worth it, but I know that I need friends, and I know that pushing through, it's worth it. It's worth it to build those relationships. It's worth it, but I have to fight for it, because relationships, ultimately, they do make life sweet, and we need friends for good and bad times. And actually, one of the longest going studies they've done on happiness, it's from a book, from this Harvard study, but they wrote a book on happiness. And what they found is, regardless of what religion you have, or regardless of how much money you have, or what job you did, those who had the best relationships, not just with a spouse, but with friends and with family and siblings and all the things, they lived a longer, happier life. And they felt more fulfilled. Like, relationships just make life so sweet. And that's what can be so hard when we move, because there's like a vacuum of relationships, you know? And I know when I moved here in North Carolina from Tennessee, part of me felt like, okay, I have friends in Tennessee, and then I have my close friends from California, and we can just talk on the phone and it'll be good. And I have a newborn plus, 3 other children. This was in this season 5 years ago. And maybe I don't need to make close friends right now because it's just a tough time. It's January, it's COVID, all the things. And I didn't lean in. I didn't push in. And I went through, I think, an extra year of loneliness that I probably didn't have to go through because I didn't prioritize making friendships. Vice versa, there's a gal who just moved here from North Carolina, and I've been so inspired by her at church because she's inviting people to hang out. She's getting groups of women together, and she's just going all in. Like, she's blooming where she was planted. God has moved her to this city, and she doesn't know anybody, and yet she's being a connector. She's reaching out. And while she can't have microwave best friends, nobody can, I'm so inspired by her pursuit of people. And it's really encouraging me, not just her pursuit of me, but pursuit of other women and how she's bringing them together. Like, let it be said that we were a connector. Let it be said that we were an includer. Let it be said that we reached out in relationships and we were the friend that people would like to have. Because I think if we go first and we have those mama relationships, it's going to yield so much fruit. But I think the caveat to that is finding friends that you want to be more like. Like, who are some women that inspire you, and try to go be friends with them. Like, we're going to get shut down, of course, by some women, but that's okay. We can just keep going. But friendship is worth fighting for. Our husbands can't also simultaneously be our girlfriends. We still need those women relationships because we're relational creatures, and it's worth it. And double bonus if I can find friends that also have great kids, because a friendship is an education. And so for my kids to have great friends, it's important. And for me to be thinking about that, especially, how I'm homeschooling my children. So just me trying to be super intentional. I'm trying to find great friends for my kids, but I know that I have to go first, and I have to find great friends for me too. So those are just a couple of wrong expectations I see quite often in motherhood, and that I have bought in at some point or another. I don't know if you know about the website, girlteachme.com, but I have so much stuff over there. I have discount codes for you from some of my favorite brands. I send out a Friday email called Ideas for Intentionality every Friday. It's been going out 2 years strong, thanks to my friend Taylor. She helps me get all the links in there and everything. It's definitely not a solo show over here. I'm grateful to have some good help because, like I said, just homeschooling 6 kids. Well, I don't homeschool all of them. I have 6 children. I only homeschool like the oldest 4. But it's busy over here, so I'm not doing it all by myself. And if you want to grow in motherhood, I just want to let you know that like the recipes I make quite often, I'm putting over there. And there's help for pregnancy. There's help for new motherhood. There's some of my favorite books. I have a huge book list down below. That's another thing you could go and download for free. 64 of my favorite books by category that have helped me be a better mom. So all of those resources for you on your motherhood journey. And I'll see you again in the next video.
It's so unnecessary dwelling about the past, 'cause I know that God is good. He led me to where I'm at. Sometimes I feel like giving up, you're giving in, but everything happens for a reason. It won't always be blue skies ahead. Sometimes you might need a helping hand, just like iron sharpens iron, making me stronger, calling me higher. When we come together, just like iron sharpens iron, making us stronger, calling us higher. When we're helping each other, we're growing together.